Roxo Media House.
Jeff Wilson started covering the Texas Rangers in 2008, though he'll never forget 2021. Out on his own, he decided it was time to do a podcast, but his wheels were spinning until a nerd came along. There's no going back now. Welcome to the Texas Rangers Baseball Podcast. Here's your host, Jeff Wilson, and the recliner nerd himself, John Moore.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. This is episode number 55, and today, Martin Perez. Am I saying that right?
Well, I think so. We need to ask him about that.
Well, we'll ask him because Joel, our producer here that has actually talked and interviewed him for our Spanish part of this that he's going to try to do some more of, he says Perez. I'm trying to roll my R's and do it right.
Well, you don't roll your R if it's just one R.
Well, I don't know, but I've always just said
Perez.
Joel's
Last name is Perez.
Okay.
But on the broadcast, they're pronouncing it Perez.
Perez. Perez. Okay. Anyway, we're going to talk to him in a little bit, but right now the season is over. We need to talk about the big league team. They finished the season 68-94. I personally thought they would win anywhere from 74 to 78 was going to be good for me and a big improvement.
Sure.
They didn't hit that, and things changed.
Yeah. Well, obviously we already had the two big changes with Chris Woodward and John Daniels. Thursday, first day of the offseason, Doug Mathis was not retained as pitching coach or co-pitching coach. The other co-pitching coach, Brendan Segura, won't be back. He's been offered a role with the team. They like both guys. All right.
Right.
They like Brendan because Brendan is really good at fixing grips and stuff like that, and kind of a analytics kind of guy. So I'm sure they can find him a place. But I think if there were going to be any changes, it was going to be to the pitching coaches. Chris Young was a major league pitcher, and he was good for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he has an idea of what he wants. And there were too many walks at times. You kind of look at the walk totals. Glenn Otto walked 62. I think our buddy Martin walked 66, somewhere in the 60s, 66,
He's
something
always
like
setting
that.
up the double play, though.
That's right. So and there are a lot of mistakes on 0-2 and 1-2 pitches.
Yes.
A lot of damage was done on those pitches, and I think that ultimately, you can't be afraid. You gotta put guys away when you're up in those counts.
You've got the advantage. Bad
things aren't supposed to happen.
No, you got the advantage.
And, I think if you look at the averages on the season, it'll bear out that yes, the pitchers are mostly successful in those counts, but there was too many bad things happen. So you got to be on the attack. I'm assuming Chris Young wasn't a strikeout pitcher.
No.
But he knew how to pitch and get outs, and so I think that
Martin's not a strikeout pitcher,
right?
Really.
Right, and anyway, there was good done, individually. Perez, they kind of left him alone. They worked on a couple grips. John Gray, they worked on his curveball grip. Matt Moore, they worked on his curveball grip. So there were good individual success stories, but overall, the pitching staff I don't think made the leaps that were anticipated.
And let's be honest, they're talking about this pitching staff is going to look completely different coming into next year. That's more than likely going to happen. And with that, why not have a new personnel to lead that way in? Maybe if you already know who you're going after, maybe the pitching coach hire attracts some of the free agents that you're going after. I know money talks, but if it's down to two teams that have the same amount of money on the table and you like working with this guy, don't think that doesn't play into things.
Yeah, in I'm big on conspiracy theories. Or one of my theories is that Chris Young knows who he wants to have as the manager.
Wrote that today.
And that he's going to let and that guy knows who he wants his pitching coach to be.
Right.
Now, I don't, that's a possibility, but I also think that in a perfect world, the pitching coach would be allowed, or I'm sorry, the new manager would be allowed to at least pick his pitching coach.
Sure.
And the coaching staff is outside of those two guys and Josh Johnson, who was the minor league coach, who came up when Tony Beasley was promoted.
Right.
I think that they're all going to come back. The roles are to be determined. Now the two hitting coaches aren't going to go anywhere.
Right.
I think they signed multiple year contracts. Corey Ragsdale, Bobby Wilson, who I think could,
Be up for the job.
Donnie Ecker is the bench coach. That's in his title, but I think that Bobby Wilson did a lot of bench coach stuff.
Right.
I could see that changing where Bobby is given the bench coach title, but I don't know. But we'll just see what happens. And and Tony, if he is not named manager, which I am beginning to think isn't going to happen, or I've thought
he's going to be offered a job in this.
He'll be offered a job. They
love him.
They just love him. The players love him.
And kudos to him. Look, if he gets another gig, he'll go take
base coach.
Yeah. And if he gets another gig, he gets another gig, and they'll wish him well in doing that. But Chris Young all but said that he's got a job in this organization, no matter what happens.
Yeah. Well, and with a managerial change, the assistants, their contracts expire in October, and they're kind of in limbo. They need to know
exactly
if they're going to be around and what it's going to be. They're kind of like free agents right now, but they need to, once you get into November, the jobs just disappear. So they need to have a little protection too. And so it wouldn't surprise me. It's happened in the past where coaches who past coaching changes, Ron Washington, for instance, Gary Pettis went to the Astros, which was a huge loss. Gary's a great coach.
Yeah.
Just anytime there's limbo like that, these assistants, they need a job.
So let's talk about the manager search. Okay. So honestly, some of these guys are probably on staffs that are playing. But I think that you and I both agreed that's probably the first thing they got to do, and they're probably going to try to do it pretty quick. Can they interview guys and have a deal in place without announcing? Well, I know they don't want them to announce, but nobody's going to leave. Let's use our guy Ron Washington. Let's say they offered Ron the job. He's going to stay with the Braves until they're out.
Right.
He's not going to leave them.
Right. They need to ask permission of the club with which the candidate is under contract to speak to them.
Right.
They never say no because in baseball, if there's a better job available, you give that person the opportunity to interview and pursue it. But yeah, they probably wouldn't make an announcement until afterward, after the playoffs or after that candidate is eliminated.
Right.
Now the previous coaching search, Jeff, Chris Woodward was on the Dodger staff through the World Series.
Exactly.
And so that took a while. Now you can interview these guys during the process.
Right. Of course. As long as it's not interfering with what they've got going. Absolutely.
It's usually on the travel days.
Right.
And you get a feel for it, and that's going to happen. I just have a feeling that there are candidates like Ron Washington potentially, hopefully in my case, who.
Me too. I'm ready for Wash to be here because I've always loved him when I was a fan, but now I've met him. What a great guy! But you guys all love him, so I'm assuming this is.
From a purely personal standpoint and a work standpoint, because he's great to work with, I want Ron Washington to be the manager. They may not even interview him, but that doesn't mean I can't have him on my wish list. But I think Bruce Bochy's the name that is out there because of the tie to Chris Young.
Sure.
Bochy was Young's manager in San Diego for a few seasons, and so that's a natural connecting of the dots. And what I hear is Bruce Bochy would like to manage again, but it's not a burning desire. You know, and if he does manage, the thinking is, according to one of the guys I talked to, that the Chicago White Sox job would be more appealing because the White Sox are built to win now.
Right.
Whereas the Rangers, I know that they say they're going to contend in 2023, but
that's a big offseason.
Yeah, and so the White Sox, the pieces are in place. They just underachieved this year and were crappy, and they had some injuries early on. But
sure,
I think that that makes sense. If you're 67 going on 68 and you've been out of the game for a while, I don't know that you want to go into a situation where you're not going to win.
Now let me play devil's advocate to that. They just did that with Tony La Russa. That didn't work out. So you go to the veteran guy who came in and was still, that didn't work out. So maybe they're a little burned on that. But Bochy, I think Bochy is a far more reputable name than maybe LaRusse. LaRusse had been out a long time.
Yeah, I mean, Tony La Russa's in the Hall of Fame. He's a great manager.
Right.
He's buds with Jerry Reinsdorf, the White Sox owner. So it was surprising that he was hired, I think. But it just didn't work this year.
No.
And last year they were a playoff team last year, but it didn't work this year, and it should have.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they would be burned by that. I mean, Joe Girardi would be another guy,
sure.
Who's a hot free agent. Let's say Joe Madden, who I don't think the Rangers should hire. Don Mattingly. Yeah, Don Mattingly's suddenly out there if he wants to keep
and hey, the reason they need to shore it up is because there are rumors that there are a couple of guys that are in the playoffs that may be out of a job if they don't proceed forward. I've heard rumors about even down in Houston that whether he wins it all or not, it might be time for Dusty to step back or do something. You hear things, you read things. Who knows? Yeah. I like Dusty Baker. I think he's done a good job for coming into that situation and what he's done. But who knows? I've even heard the general manager in Houston might be on the hot seat. I don't know. That team is doing well. I don't see what the big deal is.
Right. I don't know how you would change anything.
I don't either. When I read that, I was my eyes rolled, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
That'd be a surprise. But so we're gonna have a managerial search. Hopefully, it ends quickly. I know that's what Chris Young wants. He wants it to be over quickly, but it just depends on
what he's got to do,
who they decide is the best candidate.
All right, let's talk a couple awards on here. But before we do, I'm going to say you and I were out there for the doubleheader on Tuesday. You ended up leaving. Henry, hey, hit a home run. That was awesome.
That's right. Yeah.
You were texting me updates on that. I was lucky enough to be there for number 62.
Yeah.
I got to tell you what, I've never been a Yankee fan because I'm a big Texas Ranger fan. It was very cool what happened. I think the Rangers, hats off to the Rangers. They said from the beginning they were not going to pitch around this guy. They were going to go after him.
Yeah.
They were going to challenge him out of respect and let him have to earn it and actually do it. Tinoco was very gracious afterwards to talk about it. Everything was said right, and Yankee fans appreciated it and raised some money for the Rangers off of that. I tell you what, that was very cool.
Yeah, the whole thing, and it was handled well by the Rangers. You know, they gave him his moment. They put the graphic on the video board that I thought was a nice touch and a nod to do it. But yeah, they wanted to get him out. And
exactly.
Now, some people are giving the Orioles heat. Technically, the Orioles were still playing for something.
Absolutely.
But still, it was apparent that they just weren't going to let Aaron Judge beat them in that series. But yeah, I mean, and Tinoco hung a slider. It happens all the time, and Aaron Judge didn't miss it. So that's just baseball. But yeah, and that is a nice gesture that a fan came up with, and that some Yankees fans actually followed it and came through. So, but yeah, it was well done. And yeah, like you said, I had plans to stay for the first at bat of the second game because my son had a game at 7:40. I was like, all right, I can still make it. I can see Judge hit and still make the game on time. Well, I left Henry's equipment in the back of my car.
I saw the text and you were going, oh no.
And he had to be there at 7. And so I was like, well, I got to go. So I left, and, congratulations, Aaron Judge. And, my son did hit a home run, not over the fence. He's only 10, but he hit it hard, and he hit it far enough where the outfielders didn't have a chance to get him. So
that's awesome, Henry.
That's good. And, but yeah, and like missing the game.
Yeah.
I've kind of learned, after missing a lot of stuff, covering the team on the road, which I'm still going to do, but just not as much. But, it hurts me, but it hurts them.
Absolutely.
If I had missed Henry's home run, he would have been down.
Oh, man, it would have been, I know.
And I've seen a lot of history.
Sure.
Josh Hamilton's 4 home run game, World Series, no hitters. So I missed out, but I didn't miss out.
Hey, the Rangers today was there.
That's right. That's right.
And Rangers today was there, and it's too cool. My kids are grown and out of ball now. If you can do it, you go watch Henry play ball and do that. Okay, let's go over a few awards. So the season is over. Who's the MVP of this team?
I think it's Nate Lowe.
Me too. Okay, we got 2 there.
He was their most consistent offensive player. He was very, very good. I know the defense is an issue, but it's Adolis Garcia is more of an all around player. He stole a bunch of bases, hit a bunch of homers. Is a very, very good defender. But he hit in the 240s. Still missing a couple things offensively. I think his on base percentage might have gotten to 300, but
right.
I just think it's Nate Lowe, and it was, for me, it was such an important season for him because he entered this season not assured of being an everyday player beyond this season, and I think he at least has locked up 2023 on that regard. So, but there were some good seasons. I mean, Marcus Semien ended up having a good season.
Absolutely.
Corey Seager. You look at the numbers. Take away his career numbers. You look at the numbers like, hey, that's a good season. Yep. The OPS was above league average. He had 33 home runs. It was, though, not a Corey Seager season.
No.
At least in terms of like the OPS and slugging percentage and even batting average.
Sure.
I was able to catch up with him in the clubhouse on Tuesday, and he talked about it. He was pretty honest about it. I'm going to have a story on it this weekend at some point. That might be the Sunday read. So anyway, he's looking forward to the shifts being banned.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, no player in baseball was affected by the shift more than Corey Seager. So that'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. But Nate Lowe's our player.
Absolutely.
Right?
I agree on that one. Look, when you hit over 300 and then you do have 28, 27? What did you have?
27.
27, I think. That's good. Pitcher of the year, the guy that's coming on, right?
Right, Martinez.
It's hard to go off.
289 ERA.
Yep.
All-star.
Yep.
Did it the whole year.
Yeah. Never really had a big stretch where he wasn't producing.
Yeah.
Made adjustments. Big thing with him was he going to keep up with the fastball this year. He did. Yeah. Ended up proving that. You can't go without that. Pitcher of the year, Martin Perez, obviously. That's
pretty
did
easy.
It all year long.
Pretty easy.
Rookie of the year.
Glenn Otto, for me, I think, he made a bunch of starts. ERA was in the 4.6 range, which was better than Dane Dunning.
Right.
Who's not a rookie, but, was in the rotation all year until his hip flared up. So, a good year, and he finished well. He had a 3.68 ERA in his final 12 starts, so the last two months. Cut down on his walks in, let's say, September and October, something he had to do. So I don't know where that leaves him. I think with him and Dunning and Reagans, they might be fighting out to be the fifth starter next year.
Depending on what happens
in free agency. And, the Rangers do need depth. Every team needs depth.
Absolutely.
It'd be kind of crummy for them to have to go to AAA or maybe pitch out of the bullpen. But every good organization has a lot of starting pitching depth at AAA. And I think if things play out the way the Rangers are forecasting,
right,
then that's spring training will be a 3 or 4 man battle for that job.
It's hard not to say it's Otto just because out of all the rookies of what he did. My little thing that I always do is rookie for me. It's you're getting called up that year. Otto played a little bit last year in the big leagues,
right?
But none of those guys were here long enough to really. I mean, maybe Josh Smith, but he didn't have great numbers. You got Josh Young, who did well at the end, but he wasn't here very long. You got Duran, who couldn't stay up here. I mean, not that he wasn't bad, but just wasn't enough at bats.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe someone like Leote was here and already been here before. He had,
Well, he I think Leote was out of rookie status though.
Yeah, he was, and so, but. In my brain, he's still somewhat of a rookie since he didn't. But he settled into that position, it looks like. Bubba came up here, did well, was exciting. 18 stolen bases, 19 stolen bases. But Otto's pretty easy to go with. I mean, Reagans didn't do horrible. Came up here and held his own. So on that, who was the biggest surprise?
Probably Lowe, just because the improvements he made were so significant. You know, although he did walk less, but.
When you're hitting over,
he had to have this season.
Yeah,
and he did. Oh, and I think the other surprise. Okay, we already gave Nate Lowe a surprise, an award. So I'll say the surprise was Jonah Heim.
I had that on my brain,
and I know he tailed off
he was
after
exhausted,
the All-Star break.
I think.
Yeah, he told me he was going to sleep for 3 weeks, and
he's got young babies too.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he they traded Jose Trevino because they thought Heim would be the better player, and you can argue who had the better season. Trevino was an all-star, which I think was in part due because of he played for the Yankees.
Yes,
but Jonah Heim had a really good year. He's a good defensive catcher. He has answered part of the catching quandary. It looks like long term.
Sure.
2023. It looks like Heim and Mitch Garver. I still think Sam Huff has a chance to be on the roster in some capacity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that anybody saw Jonah Heim being an all-star candidate.
No, I don't either. He was a surprise.
And he caught over 100 games, so I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, and I'm actually right there on board with you. The only other one that it kind of surprised me a little bit, honestly, was how well Bubba handled his own when he got here.
Yeah, I like that.
That was a big surprise. He held his own. I mean, he hit, 260, something like that?
He
had one home run, actually two, but one of them got taken away from the fan there in Houston. Stole the bases. Look, the guy was a threat when he got on base.
Sure.
It was pleasant, and we love Bubba. So it was great to see him do so well.
Yeah.
So it was really fun to see that. That was and I think so. Heim is easy. I immediately thought of Heim. I was like, I don't think any of us thought he was going to catch as much as he did, play as well as he did. Like you said, he was in the All-Star consideration.
Yeah.
Great for Heim. It's going to be better for Heim to not have to play 100 games. Maybe knock it down to about 90 or so and get some DH though. Biggest disappointment? Anybody that disappointed you?
Well,
Garver?
All things being Garver didn't have a chance. He was hurt.
Right.
He came injured, which is a problem. It's hard to say that Corey Seager's season's a disappointment, but it probably is to a lot of people.
Sure.
To
him.
They're and to him, but they're paying him $32.5 million a year.
Exactly.
I don't know that he was as productive as people would like. Now, but what are your expectations when you're paying somebody $325? Are you like, oh well, he needs to hit 50 home runs?
Yeah.
Well, he probably needs to hit above 250, and I don't know that Seager finished. He finished right around there.
Yeah, I think so.
But anyway, if you could choose a theme too. Like the defense was awful.
Right.
That's pretty disappointing. You got to get the outs you're supposed to get. And, the 1-run losses, that's a disappointment.
Yep.
But I think that speaks more to just where the team was. Still hadn't learned how to win. Bullpen not strong. Individually speaking, I suppose you could say Seager just because.
Yeah, because
all things being relative.
Right.
But
I think on a team like this, he actually had a good season. Look, we want to see a higher.
He had a good season.
And he actually, unlike Joey Gallo, who we all like too, he does beat the shift when occasionally. When he's on there, Joey can't seem to beat the shift at all. But, Dunning, I think Dunning's second half wasn't as good as we wanted.
Yeah, but he was hurt.
But he was, and I like Dunning. I think that, I think people expect Dunning to be an ace. He's not. He's a back end of the rotation guy. Good pickup that they got for Lance Lynn when they made the trade. Other than that, defense, you got to say defense. The bullpen.
Yeah.
They really, that attributes to the 1-run losses when the bullpen can't lock things down or keep you.
Sure.
We lost. You lost a lot of games there in the 8th and 9th inning sometimes.
Yeah. When
you'd go into it with the lead. So,
sure.
Outlook for next year, I think it only looks up. I think if they're going to do what they're saying, I tell you what's exciting about this offseason. We're going to have fun this offseason. Last year they said we're going to be spenders in free agency, do that, and I think we all said, okay, all right, and then they did it.
Yeah.
They're saying we're going to be spenders in free agency again, and I think we're all going, really? Okay, because now you proved to me last year you kept your word.
Yeah.
Let's see it this year. So
Sure.
I think this offseason is going to be fun.
Yeah, the problem, or not the problem, but if they don't sign, everybody says, well, they've got money. Well, they got to go get Jacob deGrom. They got to go get, Carlos Rodon if he elects free agency, or Carlos Correa, if he hops out of his deal. But I think that the Rangers, you got to look closely at this now. The Rangers have had a lot of success on the mid-tier starters,
right?
Identifying them and grooming them, helping them along.
Mike
Minor signed for like
$30
less than $30 million, I think it was. Lance Lynn signed for
about the same,
a little above 30. Kyle Gibson was right at 30. Martin Perez signed for $4 million.
Exactly.
So if you can identify a guy like that, I mean, John Gray's $14 million.
Yeah.
And he had so if you can identify a guy like that, it would be cheaper in a trade. If it's a trade guy, it's not going to cost you as much. It's not going to cost you as much financially if it's a free agent. So, don't be surprised if the Rangers, if one of their two signings is not a blockbuster, splashy guy, but a guy who you're going to look at and be like, hey, holy cow, this is a good deal. Those were all very good contracts. And, that the pro scouting department gets a lot of credit for that. And I know Rangers are like, oh, well, everybody laments the draft track record, which has a chance to be bucked here with the recent draft picks. But you cannot say that the pro scouting department has.
No, they've been amazing.
They've been very, very good, and it's not just been a 1 year thing. I mean, it's been for
they've done
4 or
it
5
for
years now.
Absolutely, and like Perez, and like Kyle Gibson, everyone you said that if they're going to get pitchers like that, which are great, the guys that'll stay in a game, they'll fight for 6 innings, 7 innings. It's the bullpen.
Yeah.
If you're going out and signing someone like a Diaz or someone like that and throwing down a little bit of money could really shore up. I mean, the thing is this: your pitchers get you to the 6th or 7th, and then when you know that after that it's going to be very rare that you're going to lose the game if you're ahead.
Yeah.
Or that is built for success right there too.
I think that Chris Young is going to invest in the bullpen. I just and he has like I've said previously. When he was with the Padres, Trevor Hoffman was the closer, and he's in the Hall of Fame. When he was with the Royals, their starters really only had to go 6 innings, especially in the postseason, and they could just turn it over to an ass-kicking bullpen anchored by a really good closer in Greg Holland. So maybe we'll find a little more out today. We'll find some more out in the offseason, but today, by the way, is the season-ending press conference.
Yeah, we'll be there at 2:00 today. So watch for a video, guys. I'm gonna get a little video of it. We'll try to get it out today too.
I just have a feeling that the Rangers will upgrade their bullpen via trade or free agency.
So it's over. It's done. Playoff baseball starts today.
Season is over, and
So
the work begins.
The work begins. Martin Perez is up next.
Yes.
We'll get him in there. We are going to go down in the bus leagues after that, guys. Just talk a little bit. Kumar Rockers out Arizona Fall League. What's going on there?
Yeah.
I've got my top 20 coming up. We'll touch on that a little bit. But let's get to Martin Perez right after this.
Yes.
Joining us now from Dallas. He's at his house. The season is over. He's obviously the pitcher of the year for the Rangers. I'm going to say this right. Martin Perez. I've always said Perez, but is it Perez?
Wherever you guys want to say my last name, I'm okay with that.
I want to say it right.
I want to say it right too. Hey, thanks for coming on, Martin.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me, and let's speak a little bit.
Well, I know it's off season, and I know you guys are hard to track down, so we really appreciate it. Look, we talked a little bit about it the other night, but not everybody has clubhouse access. So, talk about your season, and now that it's over, what are your thoughts on what you accomplished?
Man, great season, man. I think everything that I just have on my mind early in the year, I just done during the season. So, I'm really happy to talk to you guys about my season, and I think I put everything together and trying to do too much during the game or at the field, just trying to enjoy my days and trying to, not trying, but always talking to the younger guy to how is the process and what they need to do to to be better, and not just as a pitcher, but I think as a person, it's important too. But it was an amazing season, and I'm glad to be have the opportunity against with the Rangers and have the season that I done. That was really cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, and you've said this too. You're more mature now than you were the first time you were here. But maturity only takes you so far. You made a few changes pitching. It seemed like you attacked more. Is that safe to say with your fast? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think finally I learned to not give too much credit to the hitters. I mean, I think more you can attack them, more chance you're gonna have to get them out. So this year I just come on, always trying to attack, and every time when I got a game, I just think I gotta go 3 hitters in this inning. If I go 3 innings in each inning, I can go deep in the game, and I'm not gonna get too tired. So that was all my plan during the whole year. So, and it happened a lot. Even when I got a runners on base or I worked somebody, I was able to, to not lose my focus, to trying to stay in the game, trying to go pitch by pitch, and don't trying to make their look comfortable. And I think I did a great job, man, with that.
You did.
So you had a 2.89 ERA, which really stands out. But I think an equally important number, and probably to you it's very important, 196 and 1/3 innings.
Oh, gosh.
It's not your career high, but I know that pitching a lot of innings is important to you. So what do you think about that number?
Good, man, and especially when you got a lot of miles in your arm, and that was one of my first goals this year, just trying to be healthy all year, and I can do a lot of things during the season, because when you're healthy, I think nothing gonna stop you. You're always gonna be ready for pitch every 5 days, and that was one of my goals. So this year I was okay with my routine. I was able to do everything the same every day to get ready for my start, and it was good, man. I enjoyed all my outings and all my games, so it was pretty fun, man. But what you say is important. 196 innings, pitch every 5 days, throw 32 stars. Says then you can you pitch all year, and you help the team most of the time.
Yeah, well, like you only threw 114 innings last season, and you were and you were in the bullpen. But
the good thing was I don't feel like tired after last year. Like last year I just throw 114, and this year come and throw 196. My arm and my body, they react pretty good, man. And I think what I did with all my trainers, all the massage and needles and stuff, and I think was a great job too. And I think if they don't do that to me, I maybe don't have the season that I have. But that's why I want to say thank you to everybody at the field, man. Like trainers, pitching coaches, man, everybody. I mean, they are always we always on the same page, and I think this year happened because then they give me a lot of confidence, and they trust me to and believe on my job too. So that's really good.
Well, I'm gonna give a shout out to Raul Cardenas. First of all, I really like Raul, but I mean
Raul is good, man.
He's busy. Everybody wants to see Raul. He's the massage therapist.
But you know what?
I was about to say, is he the massage guy?
I don't see too much Raul this year.
Okay.
Because the only thing that I'll just do, I just pitch, day off. No, I just pitch, day off. The day off, I just do needles on my arm. So second day, my bullpen day, I was doing all my workout, and I was doing my shoulder program. So on the third day, We do needles again, 4-day rest, and then the 5th day I got a pitch. But a couple times I use Raul like I'm gonna say 5 times this year.
Okay.
Because I'm not a big believer that when you do massage every day on your arm is not gonna recover well because
you're working the muscles.
You put too much pressure on your muscles, and you're always gonna feel hurt. So I like to my arm react, and then I do little things to feel good because I don't want to get to 37, 38, and okay, I don't do a massage, I'm maybe not gonna pitch. No, it's not gonna happen. So I just trying to live in and with that pain, and it's gonna go on. It's going Sunday. It's gonna go, but I'm gonna be ready for this for my outing.
All right. Well, screw Raul. All right.
And you're talking about acupuncture, right? Is that what the needles are? The
acupuncture? Yeah, needles. Yeah, acupuncture. Yeah,
acupuncture.
Oh, man. That's crazy. No, thank you on the needles.
It worked. Whatever's worked. I mean, he says
that's a personal choice.
He does 196 innings. Says he feels just like he did last year. That means it's working. Maybe I need to do that just because I'm old and fat. I need acupuncture.
Hey, so we're hoping this isn't a 1-year thing, Martin. Right? I mean, I don't know what you want to say about where things stand, but I know you love being here, and the Rangers have said they loved having you here. What is your outlook as you head into the off season?
I mean, I think that how I think now is I did my job. I mean,
you did.
I put everything on the table. So I put the numbers, and I know there's a lot of things that they're maybe gonna say, do you think Martin's gonna be like like this for the next 3 or 4 years? Of course they're gonna be. I'm gonna be better because I know how to pitch, I know how to prepare. So I did a lot of things that helped me to put everything together and have the season that I that I have this season. But they got to do their job now. So it's not my job. I mean, that's how I told my agent. Hey, you told me, hey, we got to do this, and I did better. So it's time to them to come to us and talk to us. What you guys want, or what you guys have for me? Like, what is the plan? Mm-hmm. What you guys gonna do? Okay, we want to win, but I know you guys want to win, but how you guys want to win?
Sure.
Sure.
Like, it's not more, okay, we're going to try it. No, it's time to do it. And it's not time to try it. I think people and the fans don't want to hear that anymore. Oh, we're going to try it now. We tried too many things and nothing happened. And we tried too many years ago, and we just, don't even, get to the second round. So I think it's time to go to the, to market and find the guys that we need to compete, because if we want to win, we have to beat Houston. We got to play better against Seattle because they got a good team. They got better team than us. It's not a secret. So let's see what they got, man. I mean, they got to do their things now, and then we just have to wait.
How close do you think the Rangers are? Because you guys won 68 games, which is not good. You lost 20. You lost 21 run games.
Yeah. That's a lot. But I think it's gonna be better next year. And I believe in Seaward, man. He played baseball for many years, and he know what he's gonna do. So he got a good plan in his mind, and hopefully, they trust him too and give him the chance to pick the good guys. But I think was a tough year for us because Marcos first year, Seager first year, was hard for those guys to maybe to talk a little bit more or to be like on the same page, because you have to know first, like as a person. But I believe that then next year is gonna be different, man. Everybody know everybody, and it's gonna be easy to be on the same page and to to have one guy who's gonna drive the balls all year, we all have to take care of that guy too.
Yeah, yeah. Players aren't the only new thing coming. A new manager, a new pitching coach now. But what did you? You have a pretty tight bond with Tony Beasley. What did you think of how he did?
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good. I think he did a great job. For the last 2 months. But it's a process, man. It's what I told my family and my friends or the people who come to me and ask me a question. Why you guys can play better? And when dude, we just do our best job because it's too hard to win a ball game or to be in the playoff when you don't have the completely team, or you don't have everything that you need.
Yeah.
So you got to go out there and compete with what you got now. And that was our scenario. Like, a lot of guys got hurt. Chris Young got hurt, so I was the only pitcher who ever go every 5 days and pitch. I'm not saying we did and Otto and Donnie don't do the job, but yeah, they did. But I was able to go deep in the game, give a chance to a team to win the ball game. So it's not that way when you want to go in out there and compete and win a World Series.
Sure. So we've talked about your maturity, how you've matured. There are a couple starts from your first Rangers stint that stand out to me where you would let the umpire get to you or something would go wrong. And one of them was in Detroit. It was early in the season. It was a day game. And it was a tight zone and they would not call a strike. And I can remember you just visibly being
ticked off,
pissed.
I think that was in Chicago. Remember that game? Was it in Chicago or Detroit?
Well, there was definitely one in Detroit that I remember. And,
I don't know. One in Detroit, yes. I got really mad because, they've been calling a lot of pitches then look ball, but when you go to the iPad and you can see the box, it's strike. And I know that the pitcher I throw when I say something, most of the time it's a strike, and I was pissed because I went so I've been doing great, and I'm not saying anything to the umpires because I always like to respect them because they need respect. Yeah. But don't be bad against me because I'm not gonna look good. And that's how I pitch right now. Give me those pitches. And I was really mad, and I said a couple things to him, and then he just come and say to me, and then that was all game. We were just fighting because I was not agreeing with the call that he just gave it to me. So, but that's thing then you have to understand too, and you don't have to let those guys to take you out of the game, or they don't have to take you out of the plan. So you gotta be focused no matter what. And then if you don't call that pitch where you throw, you're trying to throw more close. Trying to play with that. Because sometimes you get mad with the umpires, and that's when you lose all your focus and you lose the game. So that is one thing that I'm and I just trying to control a little bit more, because when I was 7-8 years ago, it not happened to me. So and that's what I'm saying. I'm 31. I'm mature a little bit more, and that's what I tell to people who ask me, "You're gonna be like that for the next 3-4 years?" 100% yes.
Yeah.
Because I change a lot of things in my life, inside baseball, outside baseball. My routine before the season is totally different than how I used to do it before. So, and I know it, and I believe in myself, and I believe in my talent. So, and I know next year is gonna be fun year too for me.
Yeah. No, that's another thing. You're only 31.
Yeah.
You came up young. I mean, you're not an old man, but you have the experience. You have 10-year service time. I mean, that's nuts for somebody who's 31. And congratulations on that. I know
Thank you.
That's as big as 289 and 196. That might be even bigger, honestly. But
he's got more to go.
Yeah, and you've got more to go. The best is yet to come is the way I see it. So the way we do our show here is that I ask you all the hard-hitting baseball questions, and then John asks the goofy questions. or the more personal questions.
Yeah, the more fun stuff about you. But, one thing I've known, you and I talked about what he did all year long. One thing that I remember when you were younger that what you've changed, I'm sorry, I'm doing a baseball thing. The old Martin, if he gave up a run early or a couple runs early, sometimes that would affect him. No matter what he did here, he would come back. And you did it all year, Martin. I mean, all year long, you did the same thing all year long. And that's why we've been calling for we're surprised. You know what? We're not going to get into that. But, yeah, I know where you want to be, and you have deserved what you're going to get when this happens. So, anyway, I hope I say this right. Guanare, is that where you grew up? Guanare, Venezuela?
Yeah. Good.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. That's where it was. So you signed with the Rangers in 2007. Let me ask you this. When you were growing up, did you play anything else besides baseball?
I was a singer. I was trying to sing. But that's why I come, against, and I find the baseball game because I can be a singer. So
a singer, huh?
A singer. So you know what? We got to.
We'll ask about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be his hidden talent. In fact, we'll get to it in a minute.
Yeah, we do get to that. So let me ask you this. You were signed in 2007 by the Rangers. I'm trying to do the math. Were you 16, 17? How old were you?
16.
Okay. Now, were you in one of their little how did they scout you? Was it like an open tryout? How did they find you?
I was, I remember that I was at home and was one person. Then he went to Las Matas where I grew up, and he was watching me just playing baseball, and he told my mom, "Hey, I think I'll be back in 2 years, and I want to see this kid again." And that happened. Like, he come next 2 years later, and he find me, and I was throwing balls, and he was watching me, and he take me to a different city. And, I stayed there for like a year and a half in Valencia because I just, live from my house to a big city. It was hard for me, but, I was 100% sure that I'm 100% that I'm going to sign a professional baseball because I have talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I just need to do everything right because I'm going to change my life and my family life. So I went to Valencia. I signed at 16 years old. And then after that, I just went to Arizona with 16 years old. But it was not easy for me to sign a professional player. It was too hard. It was a lot of things that I just, I tried too many things, and I get into one of the hardest processes when you are Latino player. But I think that was one thing who, take me to a different level. And, and I always remember where I come from, and I know who I am, and that's what I think. I got a 10-year service in the big league now.
You never pitched in the Dominican, right?
Never. No.
They just threw you straight into it.
They trying to leave me there my first year, and I was mad, and I told them I'm not gonna stay here. But I know that I can go to a different level, and I can be good. So just give me a chance, and they send me to spring training. I stay in extended league, and then after that, they send me to Spokane, and then I think my first years in US, we won that year in Spokane, 2008.
So you were in Spokane. What were you, 18, 17?
17.
17. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one of my favorite questions to ask, and it's good for you because it happened in the middle of the season. June 27th, 2012, that's when you made your major league debut. So you got called up. How did you find out you were going to the big leagues? What happened? Who told you? How did that happen?
I was supposed to pitch on the 26th in Iowa against the Cubs.
Okay.
So I got to the field, and Bobby Jones was my manager.
Bobby Jones.
One of my favorite managers.
I'm sure he taught you some English.
You know how he speak, and then he just come to me and say, "Hey, Martina, you maybe not pitch today because something happened in Arlington, so you maybe gonna have call up." And I went like, "When I know that?" And he went like, "I don't know either. I'll let you know." So I sat in the dugout, watched the game, and everybody went like, "Hey, why you not pitching?" And I went like, "No, something happened in Arlington." So I like, "Wait, okay." After the game, he called me to his office and he said, "Hey, they're gonna call me back at 11. So if I call you 11:30, you're going to big league. If I'm not calling you, you gonna know where you stay here." Okay. And I got back to the hotel. I remember we were staying in a Holiday Inn, big Holiday Inn in Iowa. And my roommate was Jean Hervey Solarte. You guys remember that guy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I was talking with him, Solarte, maybe gonna get called up, and gonna, how you feel? I feel good, man. A little nervous, but chill. I don't know how I'm gonna feel if he call me after that call. I don't know how I'm gonna feel. So I was watching the phone.
I was about to say.
I was watching the phone, and I don't hear anything. And then 11:30 that night, he called to my room. And when I saw that, when I heard that phone ring, and I went like, "Solarte, can you take the phone?" And he went like, "That's not my call. It's your call. Answer the phone." And I went like, "No, you answer the phone. I can't answer. I'm too nervous." But he went like, "No, it's your time to answer the phone. Answer the phone." And I hang up, and I went like, "Hello, hey, you're going to the big league tomorrow, so be ready. You're gonna go there. They're gonna give you a chance to pitch in the big league." So I can't sleep that night.
I bet.
Oh,
I can't sleep that night. I call everybody. My mom don't answer the phone. Not even my mom, my dad, nobody. I mean, I was with Solarte. I was talking to him, and I went outside outside to my room, and I started, talking with the guy because Solarte talks to everybody that I got called up, and that was pretty fun.
So your debut was in Arizona, is that right?
My debut was in Arlington against Detroit.
I don't remember. I apologize. I thought it was in Arizona.
I faced Tony Horner, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, and Springfielder.
Oh man! Do you remember how long you went? How did you do? Did you go 4, 5, 6?
I was doing good, but ground ball to second, Kisler bat throw to first, and when I went to first to catch the ball, the throw was too high, and when I just trying to jump, Springfielder just grabbed my back, and we went together to the floor. And then he went like, "How you feel?" "I'm good," and he just hit my chest, man, like boom. I'm like, damn, this guy is strong, man. And then, I think that was, was a good moment, man. I enjoy it.
Facing Cabrera and Victor Martinez had to be a big deal for you.
No kidding.
Especially in 2012, Cabrera,
he was the best player out. He was the best player out there.
Triple crown, yeah. So
yeah.
Okay, so let me ask. So what do you do outside of baseball? Do you golf, fish, hunt? I know you've got, don't you have a ranch?
Fish. I like to fish. I like to, cook. I like to make a lot of barbecues, man. So I'm a big fan of barbecue. So that's what I do. I like to do I like to fish. I like to cook. And, when I got back home in Venezuela, I just, always every day I wake up in the morning because I do all my my preparation at my ranch because I got my weight room and everything there. So I wake up early around 6, went to my ranch, I do my workout, and after that I just, okay, what is the plan today? What we're gonna do? So we gotta go back home, or we're gonna stay here, or we go fish. What we're gonna do? And most of the time, we have the boat. We've been not using the boat for like 2-3 weeks. Let's go fish. And I got 3 boats, tracker boats at home. So we just do that and then go to a river and fish, and But that's kind of the thing that I like to do. And of course, when I'm with my family or some friends, I like to sing a little bit.
Well, we gotta get it. I'm assuming you have a karaoke machine.
I have it. Yeah, really big.
That's great.
So tell us the bull story when you broke your own.
Oh, the bull story. Oh my God, man, that was really hard. I was at my ranch. I was sitting at the fan, And I was watching the ball just moving around, because we're just trying to, we use that ball to train my horses, and that ball was like really mad, and she didn't want to get in to the arena, and I went like, just guy, do it right. And I was talking with the guy, and I remember my brother I hear my name from my brother. I think I just look back. When I look back, somebody told me, "Hey, watch out!" And when I looked in front again, I saw something black just jump to me, and I got scared when I trying to cross my right leg. I just hit the defense, and I just went down to the floor, broke my bone. But that was bad, man. I mean, I went like, okay, baseball's over for me. But
luckily,
it wasn't like that. I mean,
it wasn't your left arm, though, right?
No, I went like this, but I don't know how I'm moving. All my weight was on top of this arm, like was really hard, man.
So I remember at spring training, you had pitched, and we were asking you about the bull, and I asked, "Well, what happened to the bull?" And you said I killed him and ate him. And that pissed off the PETA people, the people who protect pets. Yeah. I remember.
Hey, I would have done it. My family has a ranch too, so I've been around those bulls.
I just remember you caught a lot of shit for that.
Well, how you not do that? How you not do that when you broke your arm?
Yeah.
But you know. But didn't you have like a big cookout or something? Didn't you feed a bunch of people with?
Yeah, man. Like 30 people. I invite all my friends and all my guys, and let's go eat meat because I'm gonna, do a big barbecue, and then we just do it, man.
What's your specialty? What's your barbecuing specialty?
Good, that's good. That was my next.
I like to eat picanha.
Oh man, I love picanha.
What is that?
Picanha.
Oh, it's delicious. It's a Brazilian. It's a Brazilian.
That's a Brazilian. Yeah, but it's really nice, man. Like you have time to cook picanha. I think for me it was one of the best meats.
Yeah, my wife made a picanha for Christmas this last year.
We need him to make us a picanha.
It was delicious.
Really good.
Whenever we go to Texas Day, Brazil, I load up on the picanha.
Okay. Let me ask you this: Do you eat any fast food when you're in the States?
Any what?
Any fast food?
No.
Never do? You never like fast food?
No McDonald's, no Whataburger, nothing like that?
Not much, man. Like, mostly Dominican. At the complex.
Yeah.
We try to eat the same thing every day. And then at night, the food was not good. I mean, it's not a secret. I'm not the only people who say that. At night, the dinner was bad. And we always buy a chicken and French fries, like pica pollo. They call pica pollo.
Okay.
And most of the time buy McDonald's. But when I got here, not much. I mean, I don't like to eat that too much. And when I got called up to when I made the team in 2009 in Hickory, the only thing that we eat was rice, chicken, beef, or Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's yeah. No wonder you're eating the home cooked stuff now, because that would. So, what is your favorite home cooked? Is it the picanha? That's your favorite?
Yeah. I mean, you know what I like? I like chicken, rice, beans, and salad. That is pollo guisado. Really nice. Really good. And then my mom, she's always make a good soup, so I kill that. Especially Sundays, because Saturday you drink a little bit and you enjoy your time with your family and your friends, and next day you wake up and you feel like, oh my God, I think I drink too much yesterday. So you get good sopa, you good.
All right, I got just a couple of more, and then we're going to let you get out of here. First one, what is the nickname El de la Matas? Is that right?
El de la Matas, that is the town where I grew up. So I was born in Guanare, but I grew up in Las Matas. Las Matas is a small town. Like, I don't know how many houses there, man. Like, I'm going to say 500 houses.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's a little town. Okay.
Town, like, yeah.
So
like,
that's your hometown, and that's the nickname.
That's and that's what I got. I got my ranch. I got my horses. I got my, I do all my workout. That's where I spend all my time off. Like, that is my favorite area, to be when I'm not playing baseball.
Hey, how big is the ranch? How many acres you got?
So I got 3. I got one that is like 35. That's where I got my horses and everything. So I got another one next to that one. Then it's like like 35, 40. That's where I have all the cows. And then we make cheese, or we sell the milk. And I got a new one that I just buy it on December. And I got 300 acres.
Oh wow!
So that one is big.
You have plans for that one?
What are you gonna do there?
I got a lot of bulls and cow, and I just trying to sell it for meat.
Sure.
Okay.
That is. I mean, you put it in with, like, I'm gonna say, let's say 300 pounds, 400 pounds, and then you just wait like 8 or 9 months or 10 months, and then you sell it for like 800 or 900 pounds, and that's where you can make money.
So
because it's for me.
You've heard of Nolan Ryan beef?
Yeah,
now we've got Martin Perez beef.
Yeah, I got Martin Perez. My family has cattle, so I know what you mean. It's all the weight. You get the weight, get the mama cows.
Yeah, most weight they both get, much money you're gonna make.
Absolutely. Okay, last one, and I think we know the answer now.
Well, I think there are a couple, but
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so what is something that nobody knows about Martin Perez? And so we had a couple of good answers from other people. Now, we just heard from you that you sing. You love to sing. That's good. Anything else? You can look at some of the other guys. Who were some of the other ones? I
don't remember.
Jack Leiter doesn't like peanut butter. That was weird. Some of the John Daniels has
travel underwear when he travels.
He likes certain pairs he wears. What's something that nobody knows about Martin Perez?
Man, I don't like the noise. Like, I don't like when we're just sitting and talking, and then everybody's talking at the same time, and you can't hear anything, and you're trying to talk and people don't let you talk. I hate that. I don't like that. I mean, I don't like when I can't communicate with somebody because they talk too much.
That's pretty funny. So
that's why when I'm at the airplane, and then we put some music and we start talking, and I see, like, everybody's talking at the same time, I just put my earphones and I'm not speaking to anybody.
So this is pretty funny. So last night, my son had a game, and it ended on, he was playing third base, and there's a pop-up, and it fell on the infield. All right, bases were loaded, 1 out.
Right.
1-run game. So all hell broke loose because the runner started moving, and Henry tagged the guy going from second. So it was a game-ending double play because of the infield fly rule.
Right.
And I'm the only one at the place who knows this. So anyway, I'm trying to explain it to my wife and son and daughter after the game, and they keep talking over me, and it pissed me off so much, Martin. And I finally said, "Everybody shut up. I'm going to explain this." I just couldn't stand it.
Martin would have already got out of the car.
Martin would have his headphones in.
He'd put his headphones in.
Golly, man. It's hard. I mean, and then what I don't like too is when you have excuses. Like, you always have excuse for something. That's not good.
Yep.
Like, you got to be honest. I'm not doing this because of this. It's not, I don't do it because that guy told me to. No. It's your fault. I don't like that. You know why? Because the way that I learned how to play baseball in big league was with a lot of old school guys, and they always ready to play. So that's why I'm gonna be ready every 5 days to pitch, and that's what I don't like the new baseball. Because the new baseball always, oh, we don't want to hurt their feelings. You know, we playing baseball with men.
Yeah.
You know, we're not playing baseball in Disney World. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we don't want to say this because we don't want to hurt their feelings. No chance. That's not good, man. Tell them in his face. They got to learn. They got to be better person, better player, you know?
I already loved Martin. I even love him more now.
I'm guessing Adrian Beltre told you some truths.
So, hey, every day, and I always, you know, I was trying to do everything right because at that time we had Kangaroo record and they find you. So I just trying to be, you know, stay on the line. As soon as I do this a little bit, it just hit my head. Boom, hey, don't lose your focus. Always. So we don't have that in baseball now. That's why everybody's free to do whatever they want to do. You're trying to tell them something and they don't care because they said, he's viejo, you know, he's old. So he had nothing to say to me. I'm good. I was a prospect number one. I was a prospect number one too for many years. But I worked so hard. So that's why I'm here now. But okay.
Okay, Viejo. I appreciate you.
Hey, listen, you got anything else for him?
No, and I got nothing else for you. Just thanks for coming on.
Oh, man.
Thanks for everything you did for us this season. Not just me and John, but for all the media. We always appreciate your time.
Without a doubt.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. And let's see. If I sign my contract, I'm going to do a postcard again.
You're going to do the podcast again if we...
All right. I tell you what. You sign your contract, you come into the studio.
And we go eat some good barbecue.
Deal.
All right.
Deal. I got you guys.
We get some good barbecue. That's Martin Perez, left-hand pitcher.
Thank you, guys.
For the Texas Rangers right now. We'll see what happens. Martin, thanks again so much for coming on, bud.
You're welcome, guys. Thank you, guys, for having me.
Big thanks to Martin Perez. I mean, I've been saying it right, and he certainly doesn't care. What a great interview to have him on.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, that was fun. Good guy. Look, and you know, one thing that always impresses me about the Latin players is how they grasp English. And Martin's always spoken English well. Ellis Anderson always great English. Leody Taveras has made some serious strides with his English, and Jose Leclerc too. So I mean, I really respect that. It's I've tried to learn Spanish throughout the years, and I need to keep working on it.
Yeah, it'd be fun to interview him in Spanish if I could do it. But we've got Joel.
Yeah, Joel's.
We got Joel that can do that for us if we need to. But you know, let's go down in the bus leagues. We know the season's been over for over a week now, but we got some fun stuff to talk about. Yeah. Arizona Fall League's going on right now. Yeah. Did you see any of the video of Kumar?
I didn't.
He had an inning. I mean, he walked 3 guys, but he ended up getting out of it.
He was wild, and it was his first inning of a game that mattered since the late June deal when he was in the Atlantic League, and I don't really know how much that mattered. I think he's probably a little nervous. He didn't throw in games leading into the Fall League just through live batting practice. But no, I did not see the video. I understand though that he's changed his arm slot a little bit back to what it was more in high school.
He's more upright. It was weird. You know how you see a pitcher finish, when they finish, they come down a lot. And he just finished up tight. Look, he was still hitting 96, 95, 96, 97. What you want to see. The slider looked good on the strikeout. He had 1 strikeout. I've seen the video of the strikeout. It was kind of off. It seems like the same thing that happened with Cole Winn and happened with Leiter this year. They tend to be missing, they call it glove side, off that left side. They're kind of pulling in.
Yeah.
I heard some people saying that he was missing a glove side. It's an adjustment. You got to move in on the.
It's 1 inning.
Exactly.
I mean, they want to get him 20. Sure. Around 20 would be their ideal number. So let's see what happens next week.
Acuna though, did you see what he's done so far?
Yeah,
it's been 3 games.
2
home runs.
Acuna and Haver, who hit a home run in his first game, Zavala hit a home run in his first game. These guys just finished playing, so I mean they're dialed in, and and they should be doing well. But yeah, Acuna, he probably didn't do as well at Double-A as he would have liked. But again, this is a talented guy. So, but yeah, I mean that's a pretty good, solid group of talented guys there. And Cody Freeman, the catcher, I think that's a guy to keep an eye on. I think he could be a big league catcher someday. May not be for the Rangers, but he's got that.
He could be attractive in any deal.
And I think that Cody Freeman needs to be a guest on our show. We'll try to work that out too. Okay.
Well, I think we've never had a problem getting one of these guys on. I hope we can get Cody on then for sure. Look, the top 20 list is going to come out. I did the first of the year one. You know my criteria. Jeff knows it now. You cannot have played one day in the big leagues or you do not qualify. This will be, since from the old place I was 5 years in a row, we're going to have a brand new number one overall because I had Josh Young at the beginning of the year. Did not know. I honestly thought for the first time ever I would have back-to-back Josh Youngs, and the reason I thought is because I thought he would get back, play in the minor leagues at the end of the year, do what he's been doing, and I would keep him at the top. But he graduated.
Yeah. Okay.
Three of them graduated this year into the big leagues, and actually 4 of them did because Cole Reagans was my number 20,
well, there you go.
And he ended up getting there too. So it's going to change. Before I do my preseason one, I think this will change because depending on what happened this offseason.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Top 10 will be out this week. I've got, I'm sorry, 20 through 11 will be out this week.
All right.
I'm going to do those 10, and I'll get about at the end of this week. You did some awards on your Friday on the Farm.
I did. Last week, Friday on the Farm, the Rangers actually handed out their awards that day as well.
Right.
And the Rangers Player of the Year was Evan Carter. Pitcher of the Year was Cole Reagans. Mm-hmm. I went with Evan Carter. Those, I wrote down, I think I said there were 6 guys who could have won the award. I included Bubba Thompson in that.
Yeah.
I put down all the numbers and Evans just kind of stood out the most to me. So, Evan Carter, it's hard to argue. I mean, Aaron Zavala, very good.
Yep.
Justin Foscue, quiet, sneaky, solid season. Blaine Krim ended up having a really good season.
Yeah, he did.
Jonathan Ornelas had a good season. Thomas Saint-Jacy.
Yep.
And Bubba, like I said. So, and the one thing they have in common, all Rangers Today baseball podcast previous guests.
Every single one of them. Every single one of them. You know what? You had to come on this show, and then you end up becoming
a Player of the Year.
A Player of the Year.
So anyway, so Evan Carter, Player of the Year. I picked Mason Englert as the Pitcher of the Year. See Mason behind us.
Yep.
And he pitched a full year in the minor leagues,
which he needed.
He overcame a little rough stretch in the summer, and he finished so well, and he carried it into
the
Double-A and the playoffs. So I thought it was just a really good year for him. So I selected him as my Pitcher of the Year. Mitch Bratt, very good. There were a number of. There were some guys, if Owen White had been healthy, he probably would have walked away with it. But anyway, and then I did like a breakthrough player.
Yeah, you did breakthrough player of the year.
And, Saint-Jacy was not my choice, but he was probably the runner-up. I thought Jonathan Ornelas, who the Rangers selected as their defensive player of the year, just a big season for him. He finished at 299 average, but he was above 300 all year. He hit for some power. He can play everywhere. I think he's kind of on the map now as a potential major leaguer because he's impacting the ball.
Yeah, I'm not going to say he is, but let's just say that name might have jumped into my top 20 after he was on it before, off of it, and maybe earned his way back on. But I'm not going to say that that's exactly what's going to happen. But yes, Ornelas proved that he could be something in the big leagues, and he's a good defender.
Right, he's a great defensive player.
Yes.
So and then the rest of my awards are kind of goofy, like the
feel-good story.
Feel-good story. Not goofy, but golly, Ryan Garcia, what a great story.
Been on the show.
So was Mason. So you root for guys who are overcoming injuries and doing well.
Ornelas has been on too.
Yeah. And I did Team of the Year, Frisco.
It's hard not to argue that they win the Texas League. A
very positive trend was the Rangers really didn't have any catastrophic injuries like they've had in the past.
Yes.
In the minor leagues, and that's a really good thing.
Crazy.
Marcus Smith, who we talked to in spring training, great kid, great batting practice and just like a great body. Just, he looks like a ball player. He stole 45 bases, I think. but he hit like 170.
Yeah.
And
he was supposed to be the big.
It was just a crazy year. He struck out 60% of the time. And obviously that has to change, but there's so much talent there. It's just kind of bizarre. If they can figure that out, then he's got a chance. But it was just a crazy year for him. And, and he played the whole year. He wasn't hurt, which was very important because he'd been injured in 2021. So, good. I don't think.
How old is he?
He's he's young because he was drafted out of high school in 19.
So he's like 20, 21 maybe.
Yeah. So lots of time. Nothing to worry about there. And then what was my last one?
Your last one was Intrigue of the Year.
Oh yeah, and it's Kumar Rocker because and the potential that draft with Rocker and Brock Porter, who are still trying to get on, that thing's that just for one team to get the two best pitchers in the draft, that's got a chance. But it's
whether it works out or not, it's still intriguing.
It needs to happen, so that's what makes it intriguing. So anyway, you can find that at rangerstoday.com for $5.99 a month, $60 for the year, $35 for 6 months. And like I've been saying all week, and since we've been saying the last month, just because the season is over does not mean that we're over. And
no.
We're going to keep cranking on this podcast.
There's too much to talk about.
Yeah. So as we keep going on the podcast, you got to click the subscribe button. Very importante for us. And then keep the subscriptions coming because there's going to be a lot of news and a lot of cool stuff that we're going to do throughout the off season. I plan on going to the winter meetings. John and I will each have prospect lists, and we just have great guests.
Yep, absolutely. Every week
every week we have something good.
The front office guys are amazing too. I mean, the talk that you get from, and I know we plan on getting Ross on here.
Ross is going to be coming on probably later this month, and
those guys are fun to talk to because they know everything. That's their job, the development and all of that happens.
And Ross is he was a scout. He is a scout. I think and he'll still tell you that. So he'll do some scout talk and have some pretty interesting things to say about how they evaluate guys. So hopefully that happens. If not, it won't happen next week because that's their college tour. Yeah. Which this year goes to Oklahoma State,
they have
Arkansas.
One Metroplex thing.
It's TCU, but it's the night of Do It for Dirt, so we won't be able to go.
We won't be there.
If you're not going to Do It for Dirt, go watch some prospects play.
I was about to talk about Do It for Dirt, which, by the way, is next Friday.
Yeah, next Friday, the 14th.
Great. We had
Four Corners Brewery, which you said you just went to.
I went to not before last time I went there. It was good beer.
You were drinking beer?
I did have a beer.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I did have a beer.
But we're going to have beer, wine, and some whiskey,
I heard, yeah.
And, great auction items. We saw some of them on last week's episode. If you didn't see that with Emily, go check it out.
Check it out
on the YouTube page. And while you're there, subscribe so that you just don't miss these things. But
tell your Ranger fan friends to subscribe to both of these. If you know somebody that is a Ranger fan, this is a great gift just to get Rangers Today.
Yeah, you can always give a gift. That's something else. I mean, it's
DM me. I'll tell you how to do it. DM Jeff. He'll tell you how to do it. I mean, look, we'll make sure you know how to do it. Christmas is going to be coming up here in a few months.
That's right.
That'd be a great gift.
Sure. And then, you've got Columbus Day for those who celebrate it, and Halloween.
Yeah, that's right.
All Saints
it's a great
Day,
Halloween gift.
Veterans Day, Thanksgiving. Yeah, a lot of opportunities.
National Daughters Day, National Sunday, whatever it is.
That's every day, as it turns out. They don't need a day for that. So.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Yeah.
We're going to get out of here?
Yeah, that's a good one. I liked it.
Great show. Martin Perez. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Talked about a lot of great stuff today. Off season is here. Big things going to happen. Stay tuned. Till next time, guys, we'll see you at the yard.
Roxo Media House.